Hey there, it's Dave Does on the Dave Does channel, and this is Dave Does Reacts. Today I'm going to be checking out some music from Paradise Lost. The song is Serpent on the Cross. I am looking forward to checking this one out. And the reason I say that is because, and sometimes I don't really say it if I don't mean it, so a lot of reactors go, "Oh, I'm really looking forward to check this out," but they've no idea what they're checking out. But Paradise Lost is one of those bands. It was one of the first few bands that I got into when I was in my 20s that were doom-esque. It was Draconian Times I got into, so it wasn't their heavier stuff. It was the more crossover into their more commercial rock area. But I really appreciated what they did. I just don't think they put out bad music. I also think when I write music, I tend to take a lot of inspiration from the way they do lead melodies. And try and put that into a lot of what I write. So I've been told many a time when people have heard demos that I've written that there's a lot of Paradise Lost in my style of writing. So I put a lot of that down to just how inspired I get from them. So yeah, looking forward to checking out Serpent on the Cross. I won't be pausing, I won't be talking during the video. I'll be playing it from start to finish. And if you're interested in why I do what I do, obviously you may have seen in the title sequence, I'm a drummer, songwriter for the bands like Telescribe, Nothing Gained. So please do go check us out on YouTube, Spotify, etc. Always greatly appreciated. And it just gives me a kind of insight, and obviously I do the ADK rock and metal channel as well, so we get lots of new releases and retrospective album reviews and interviews with artists, etc. So it takes a lot to surprise me. It really takes a lot to surprise me on music, and it doesn't happen very often at all. So yeah, let's check this one out. Paradise Lost, Serpent on the Cross. Okay, Paradise Lost and Serpent on the Cross. As always, I try to break this into two parts. We do the video and we do the music. We'll start with the musical side of it. So it's a 6 minute song. Knew it was going to be a doomy start. I love the kind of the initial feedback sound. That's like an almost slightly horn tuning up, very reminiscent of Metallica's Unforgiven. Starts in a very similar way. Then it kind of goes into its traditional kind of doom, very much what you expect of Paradise Lost, how it goes in. This lovely lead melody, which I love that they do that, because some bands will kind of go, right, there's a bit of a main riff here before the vocals come in, and they'll have like the rock guys will have some like lead solo-y kind of bridge section that before the vocals kick in. And I like the fact that what we have here, Greg McIntosh just kind of giving you this soulful, sorrowful lead melody line, which is just absolutely perfect for the track. And what surprised me, I think, well, I was getting to this point, I was like, well, it's going to be a traditional kind of like doomy Paradise Losty type track at this point, and it's going to be slow and heavy all the way through. Which one I did a while, something beneath the earth or something else, something beneath the earth, I think it was called, and that was very, very slow, very, very heavy, and was a great track. But it is very long, and it does make this track sort of drag when it's 6-7 minutes, and it's never has a real change. And then this one kind of gives you this change of pace. You're like, okay, you're going into classic metal at this point. Never quite crosses over into like your death metal. The only thing that's making it into that sort of area is Nick Holmes's vocals. No, I like it when he goes a bit more cleaner, like he does on some of the other stuff that, like on things like Once Solemn and stuff like that. So stuff that was off of the Draconian Times album, for instance, was a bit more clean. It didn't really go down to that guttural, but he's got such a cool, heavy weighted growl in there anyway, so it doesn't really distract from that. So it's a really nice way that the song just flips between stylisation. So you've got this heavy fast section back into this heavier doom section, and it kind of gives you, although they're both heavy, that gives you a little bit of respite for the track and allows the song to go. Great fast solo, real kind of classic metal solo. So less doomy, much more metal, and it fits because obviously this section of the song is much more of a classic metal for sort of trap rather than doom. Yeah, so overall, great track, really, really catchy, and takes you along. And it doesn't feel like a 6 minute song. It really doesn't. You're not really clock watching on this one. Let's talk about the video. So I got a bit worried at the beginning. I thought, oh god, we're gonna have a visualizer here, or something, or it's gonna be like a lyric based video. Which are the two things I hate. I hate visualizers and I hate lyric videos because they're just lazy. It's a way of getting your music out with something onto a YouTube platform or on socials, etc. But people create them and there's a lot of work that goes into them, but they don't really help tell the story of the song. So I was a bit worried when this kicked off with the butterfly moth coming out of the cocoon, etc. as it kicks off. But it didn't. And it's kind of cut with this really interesting 70s vibe animation. So you've got like the pastel drawing style of animation that was reminiscent of films like Warp Ship Down and stuff like that in the 80s. I think it was the late 70s, early 80s when that came out. And the original like Lord of the Rings film, kind of just very kind of not cartoony, but not realism either. But then you've got it cut in with some real footage. Again, looking like your 1970s horror films, late 60s, early 70s horror films, which is really cool. I like the fact that everything's not HD. I like the fact that you've got this, it's almost like it's shot in 480p. It just has this really retro look to it, and I really like that. At first, I was trying to work out whether or not it was actually from some film. Maybe there was a film called Serpent on the Cross, and they thought, well, let's use the footage from that and then cut in some other stuff ourselves. Maybe they have, I don't know. I was about to start looking up on my phone at one point. I thought, no, let me just pay attention to what's going on and see if I can kind of clock it. But maybe they did. So if they did, then great, they've used some footage. If not, they've created something that looks like it was footage from a film, which is even better. And you see this whole journey of this butterfly moth going through its entire life cycle, and then you get the end, you've got the cocoon again, where it's about to start again, which I think is really interesting. So I missed probably quite a bit of conjecture. I probably missed some of the story elements that I probably need to pay attention to. But I was just vibing on it, and I think that'll be interesting to see how I'd have to go back to this, and that's what I want a music video to do to me. I want it to make me go, hang on, I need to watch that again and see if I can understand. I'd probably get the lyrics out, watch the movie element of it again, and try to understand the journey and see what they were trying to get across. Because I think I got probably about 20% of what they were trying to talk about, and I think there's a hell of a lot more for me to kind of go into there and find out. So yeah, Paradise Lost, Serpent on the Cross, great track. Can't fault Paradise Lost in recent times. There are a lot of people that kind of go, oh yeah, but they did this whole period after Draconian Times. They just went almost synth rock, and what the hell were they doing? And then they kind of came back, and they've kind of had a few ups and downs. I'm like, I like that in the band. I like to see them exploring new things and trying different genres, and so you can go into different albums and just explore what they do. But you know what? They just come back time after time and just knock it out of the park with their brand. So yeah, can't fault Paradise Lost and a bit of Serpent on a Cross. Now, let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video today, please do like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on another video sometime very soon. Take care.